Today we're diving into an action-packed thriller called Damaged. As always, enjoy the recap. After leaving Edinburgh Central Synagogue one night, Abigail Mears is assaulted in her home by a hooded figure. Unable to fend off the sudden attack, Abigail ultimately dies. Later in Chicago, Detective Dan Lawson inspects a crime scene and quickly concludes that the scene has been staged to send a message. Intrigued, Lawson travels to Edinburgh to help the local police, led by Superintendent Kessler and DCI Glenn Boyd. Lawson is briefed on the brutal nature of Abigail's murder, noting that her limbs were severed and arranged in the shape of a cross. During their trip to Abigail's home, Boyd confides that he lost his young son a year ago. At the crime scene, Boyd reveals they found a key that doesn't fit any of the locks in the house. Avery Thompson, Abigail's neighbor, becomes their main person of interest. Boyd chases Avery into an alley, eventually cornering him. Avery provides an alibi, shifting suspicion to Colin McGregor, who owns a firearm license. At Grace's crime scene, they find a partial bloodied footprint and an ankh symbol, realizing they are being baited. Lawson reads a verse hinting at the culprit's religious fanaticism. Boyd updates Kessler that the strange key found in Abigail's home leads nowhere. The next day, Boyd tracks down Colin, but Colin refuses to talk without a lawyer present. Later, Colin provides an alibi, placing him at a security firm's warehouse in Manchester. Kessler and Lawson observe Colin's interrogation, where his relationship with Grace is questioned. Colin cryptically states that Grace was a lost soul. That evening, Kessler, Lawson and Boyd are joined by Walker as they delve into Colin's past, uncovering links to a cult organization. They discuss the symbolism of the cross and ankh, suggesting that the killer believes they are liberating their victims from life. Walker points out that the Chicago killer kept jewelry from his victims, and it's revealed that Sarah was one of them. Colin watches Marie from a distance while she is alone at home. The following day, Boyd discovers Colin had been dismissed from his security firm for failing to align with their beliefs. Boyd questions whether Colin is capable of murder, but the conversation ends without clarity. That evening, Lawson and Walker join Boyd and Marie for dinner. Although the evening starts well, Lawson notices Walker is overly comfortable with Marie. This sparks a conversation about grief, which angers Marie, who defends her actions, stating that grief can drive someone to madness. This leads to an uncomfortable but necessary talk between Boyd and Marie, where they agree to better understand each other's grief. The next morning, Marie excitedly promises a trip to Italy after Boyd's case wraps up. At work, Boyd and the team confirm Colin's Manchester alibi, but Kessler remains skeptical, suggesting Colin may have traveled to Edinburgh. Miss Walsh later visits Boyd to report seeing a strange man across the street before Abigail's murder. When presented with photos, she identifies the man as Colin. With new evidence, Kessler and Boyd prepare a unit to arrest Colin, who is about to make another attack. However, Colin spots the cops and flees. With the help of a drone, Boyd catches and arrests him, though Colin refuses to speak without a lawyer. Boyd returns home to find Marie missing. Following her phone's sound, Boyd discovers Marie has become the killer's latest victim. Walker consoles Boyd the next morning, urging him not to give up. Boyd heads to the park where Marie's torso has been found, marking the first time the killer left behind a torso. Despite officers trying to stop him, Boyd sees Marie's body, and his desire for vengeance grows. Meanwhile, Colin's interrogation continues. Kessler points out the similarities between the crimes in Edinburgh and Chicago. When asked if he's been to America, Colin confirms multiple visits and mentions learning about an unsolved case from a foreigner in London. Lawson, listening in, is intrigued. Boyd bursts in, but Kessler holds him back. Lawson steps in to continue questioning, leading Colin to reveal that his purpose is to guide lost souls. Lawson, suspicious, asks if Colin is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Without enough evidence to hold him, Colin is released, enraging Boyd. Lawson urges Boyd to stay focused on justice, not revenge. He confides that Sarah was his girlfriend, further bonding with Boyd. Later, Lawson offers Boyd a new perspective on the case, suggesting that Marie's lover could be framing him. They meet with Walker again, who proposes that the key found at Abigail's might belong to something of Colin's. That night, Colin is stabbed by a stranger after leaving a bar. The next morning, Boyd discovers Colin's disappearance and uses the mystery key to search Colin's shed. Inside, Boyd finds tools and evidence of Colin's plans, including details of past victims and future targets. However, there's no mention of Marie. Lawson concludes that Marie wasn't Colin's victim. Her murder mirrors the Chicago homicides, indicating they're dealing with two killers, one of whom is now dead. Lawson suspects the foreigner Colin met in London holds the remaining answers. Searching the security firm's website, Lawson finds a photo of Colin and Walker at a London convention. Walker calls Lawson unaware of Colin's death. After confirming Walker will meet them, Lawson sends Boyd the photo. Boyd realizes Walker is the foreigner Colin referenced and rushes to warn Lawson. As Walker enters Lawson's room, he notices Lawson's laptop open to the convention photo. Walker tries to explain, claiming he deals with many firms and didn't remember Colin. Boyd calls Lawson, warning him about Walker, prompting Lawson to arm himself. Lawson confronts Walker with the jewelry from the Chicago case, accusing him of stealing Sarah from him. Lawson admits to disposing of Sarah's torso in a jealous rage and reveals that his other victims were linked to Walker, including a hotel receptionist, a clerk, a florist, and a waiter, all connected to Sarah. Walker, overcome with guilt for not delivering justice, lunges at Lawson, but is shot. Boyd arrives, believing Walker to be the killer, and Lawson manipulates him, urging him to kill Walker for Sarah and Marie. Before Boyd can act, Walker confesses his love for Sarah and dies. Boyd searches Lawson's belongings, discovering fake passports and Lawson's plan to flee to Ireland. Realizing his mistake, Boyd chases Lawson down the highway, informing Kessler of his location. Boyd follows Lawson into the woods, where Lawson opens fire. Boyd regains consciousness and tracks down Lawson, confronting him about Marie's murder. Lawson coldly replies that his actions freed Boyd, as Marie couldn't be forgiven for her betrayal. Confident in his ability to evade capture, Lawson demands Boyd's gun and disables his phone. As Lawson walks away, Boyd vows to hunt him down. The next day, Lawson is stopped at a customs check, orchestrated by Boyd, but it turns out to be a decoy. Furious, Boyd learns the case has been transferred to Interpol, but he remains determined to be the one to catch Lawson. Elsewhere, Lawson enjoys a drink, free and undeterred. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, drop a like, and we'll see you in the next one. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more movie recaps.